Welcome to episode 10 of the Go Around Buzz podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal. What's up, Sal?
Hello, Damon.
Before we get started, this past Friday was Veterans Day. Give a big shout out to all the veterans out there, past, present. Thank you for serving our country. Sal, the Rams played the Cardinals in the battle of the backups. And the Rams came up empty, 27-17. Thoughts?
Speechless. Battle of the backups. I was hoping that, the Rams would have something to build on. I guess the past couple of weeks, offensively, you're hoping that the Rams can generate some offense. But even in the third quarter, I think they had something like 87 offensive yards. And, what's crazy, they had that first drive, which was, 14, 15 play drive, and yet they only had 87, offensive. It defies logic. And it's hard to really pinpoint, a position that the Rams are struggling with, but it is what it is. And, it was exciting to, the presentation and tailgate. That's always nice. So you got to find something to hang your hat on, but the game.
If we go to the game and the best part is the tailgate and not a victory, I mean, I love the tailgate, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I go there for the whole experience, tailgate, and also Rams victory. I'm not saying it's going to guarantee a victory. You can only guarantee a great tailgate. Thank you. But, Sal, the Rams leading rusher was Cam Akers with 22 yards? Yeah. 22 yards, Sal.
That's unbelievable.
The Rams haven't had a rusher. They haven't had a running back rush for over 65 yards the whole year. Can you believe that?
That defies logic. Like I said, it's unbelievable that the Rams are offensively struggling like this.
They're struggling so bad, fans started booing them. I never heard the Rams get booed at SoFi. I'm thinking
SoFi.
Yeah, Coliseum? Yeah, you heard that. Look at Jeff Fisher years. I thought Jeff Fisher was, I'm like, wait, okay, never mind, it's Sean McVay. But it seems like Jeff Fisher, the way they're moving, the way their offense is like Jeff Fisher, prehistoric days. They can't score, they get by the goal line, what happens? Field goal. Yeah. And when they do score a touchdown, we didn't know what to do. We're like, ah! Yeah. But then for them to get booed by the fans, I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, LA is a sports town, but man, they expect winners. And I thought with the Rams coming back and then winning a Super Bowl, I thought it would buy the Rams, a couple of more seasons where, I think what's so surprising with a lot of people, especially Ram fans, is that how quickly the Rams have fallen from grace. I mean, being defending Super Bowl champions, and you see now they can't even. People talk about playoffs. It's like we got to win a game. You have to have something positive where you could build off of.
What's that saying? Who said it? Was it Jim Moore? Playoffs? No, we got to win a game. You talking about playoffs?
He said, I don't think we're not even win another game this year.
The Rams have lost 3 straight games after the bye. Yeah. They're 3-3. They're 3-3 going into the bye. They lost to the Niners, Tampa Bay, and now the Cardinals. Yeah. Are they out of the playoffs, Sal? Will they make the playoffs?
They're still a slim percentage, but it's really slim. And I don't even think, playoffs are even, shouldn't even be on the Rams' radar right now. Trying to, win a game should be the utmost focus right now for the Rams. I saw, watching that Niner Charger game, they had a stat about the possibility or the percentage of the Rams making the playoffs, and I think with the record and everything, I think it was less than 10%.
Now the Rams haven't been eliminated yet. There's only one team that's been eliminated, an LA team, the Lakers. Can you believe this? The Rams have more. They have the same amount of wins, 3 wins. The Rams are 3-6. The Lakers are 3-11, 3-10. That's the only team, in my opinion, that's been eliminated. The Lakers. The Rams have not been eliminated yet. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
relax.
Until
they're mathematically eliminated.
But I'm the same way. I still hang on the hope because you never know.
Yes, exactly.
You never know. All you got to do is get hot, and the Rams. They still have a lot of talent on that team and on that roster. It just right now. You're watching the game yesterday, and David Long Jr. was getting beat. But sometimes when you looked at the play, the coverage wasn't that bad. It was just a perfect.
Yeah, just perfect. Yeah, you can't do nothing about that.
It wasn't like he was really out of position. he just got beat, and that happens. But when you're losing, everything is magnified.
The worst thing besides the Rams losing, Cooper Kupp, man. I saw when he caught that ball on the sidelines, I'm like, okay, he's not getting up.
Yeah.
And then you hear like around my section, I was like, come on, what's going on? Because they know I'm like.
Yeah, he was still on, and he was on the ground for a while, and it was
Lord.
so frustrating because I think any Ram fan knew that eventually, when he's your main weapon and you keep throwing to him, eventually he's going to break down, and that's what
I
happened.
went for the report to heard mild sprain, but he's like, we don't know. Well, it may not be taking time off, whatever. But if I'm the Rams, it's going to sound bad when I say this. I'd rather have him healthy, 100% healthy for next year. Because if you try to rush him back, I know we need him, Sal. We rush him back.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen. I'd rather have him miss the rest of these games and be healthy than come back 2 games later and, no. I don't want none of that. I'd rather just, hey, take your time, be patient. We'll figure some things out because his career is more important than
Winning a couple of games.
Yeah, they're getting a couple
the
games.
Rams I'm sure the Rams are going to play it smart.
Yes.
He's too bright of a, has too bright of a future to jeopardize that just to win a game. I think that, you hear different reports and stuff, but until it's official. But I know he'll miss a little time, but I wouldn't rush him back. I think that, the Rams should take advantage of some of the other younger players and at least take a look, see if these players are actually going to be, in the Rams' future.
Now, the Rams' next opponent, the New Orleans Saints. Now, we know what happened last time they played the Saints. NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
The hit, the play, the flag that never came. What do you think about that game coming up, Sal?
Well, I think both the Rams and Saints are having disappointing seasons. So
man.
I think there won't be as much intensity because they're both struggling. But just to have both those teams on the field will be exciting, because of their past. And I'll never forget that NFC championship.
Who hit him? Robbie Coleman or who hit him?
Yeah.
He tore him up. Well, I was waiting for a flag. I thought it was a hey.
Yeah, when I
Saints
saw that
fans,
flag,
I'm gonna tell you now, it was a penalty. It
Yeah.
just didn't get called. So was it a penalty? I didn't see a flag. Did you see a flag?
No, but I thought one of the greatest jersey swaps was Gurley and the ref.
Oh yeah, the referee. That was funny how they did that meme.
Yeah, I thought that meme was one of the best.
And the people
things.
like, oh, it didn't get called. I said, you guys still had the ball. You guys still had the ball at overtime. We didn't. I mean, you had the ball first. You had the great Drew Brees.
They could have sealed the victory.
Yeah, that changed. Yeah, they changed it. So now both teams are like, I think the Saints are 3-7. The Rams come in 3-6. Like,
Yeah, both are
yeah,
disappointed,
man, best after being Super Bowl favorites. The team in their division seems to be hot as Tampa Bay beat Seattle in Germany. I think this is going to sound crazy when I say this. I think Tampa Bay beating the Rams jump-started the rest of their year. They may make it to the NFC Championship game because, Sal, they were on the ropes. They had lost 3. Tom Brady had never lost 3 in a row, whatever. If the Rams beat them, I think Tampa Bay season's over. But since they beat the Rams, you gave Tom Brady life again. Well, we talked about it. Their division, they already won their division. Because no way Atlanta lost on this last Thursday. And so Tom Brady, Mariota, like we said, P.J. Walker, then the Saints. Come on, they're 3-7. Tom Brady's what? They're 5-4 right now?
Yeah.
They're going to win the division, be a 3rd seed, because when you're certain or 4th seed, Tom Brady's going to, I think that's going to happen. I wanted Tampa Bay and the Rams, but I just think Tampa Bay is going to go, because by beating the Rams, jump-started their season.
Well, I mean, anytime you have Brady on the roster, I mean, he's going to be that X factor for a lot of teams. And I think that when you go head-to-head, quarterback play is going to be the top, and Brady will be ready to go.
And they did us a favor by beating Seattle. So we knew that before the game. We didn't capitalize on it. But Tampa Bay starts to play the Niners, I believe, too. So that's going to be Brady versus Jimmy G. You know Brady's not going to go out there. I think they play in San Francisco, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But Brady going to San Francisco to play against Jimmy G, his former protege. And then to play against San Francisco, the team that you grew up watching that didn't draft you. Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of backstories in that. I was hoping we would have got a little bit of love from the Chargers, but they couldn't pull it off, and the Niners won that game. So it's hard to watch a lot of opportunities for the Rams slip away when. But the best way to position yourself is to win your own games and not rely on another team to beat somebody. And I think the Rams, they know that more than anybody. But it's the press conferences, they're pretty repetitive. I mean.
Yeah, I'm getting tired. I just say, hold on, I know what they're going to say, press rewind. I know what they're going to say. I got to watch the game film. Come on, dude. No, that's not. And speaking of the Rams, their ex-offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell, 8-1 for the Vikings. In the game of the year so far, obviously we're at the tailgate, but everybody's like, oh man, I getting text about the Vikings Bills game.
But that comeback was
Comeback was crazy. That catch by Jefferson, 4th and 18, one of the best catches ever. The Vikings are now 8-1 with the Rams' ex-offensive coordinator. How does it make you feel watching that team and how?
Well, I think it's natural to kind of think about like where the Rams would be if he was still there. But I think that a lot of coaches that leave the Rams, they go and have success. But to be able to sustain that success is a difference. And I think that, like for the Rams, McVay will get it together. It's hard every year. You know, a lot of people are talking about injuries and stuff, but when your coaching staff gets rated every year, you know, eventually you're going to run out of coaches. And I think the Rams just have to step back and kind of, you know, they'll probably have to bring in, you know, definitely some new coaches with a little bit more fire or at least a new voice, because what they're doing now isn't working.
But it's crazy how Kevin O'Connell, Matthew Stafford came last year, has a career year, great year, goes to the Super Bowl. Kevin O'Connell used to go to Minnesota. They're 8-1. Kirk Cousins having a great year. So it's like, oh man, like, will Minnesota, will he get there? Like, you know, nobody's really talking. I'm not talking about Minnesota. Everybody's Buffalo, KC, this and that.
I think that
Philadelphia.
Well, I think Kirk Cousins is just, you know, a lot of people, they're probably just not sold on Minnesota yet.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that game against Buffalo kind of would make
Open their eyes.
You know, kind of open your eyes and respect them as a team to be content.
In the AFC, the Titans won with no passing game. Derrick Henry's their passing game. They beat the Broncos 17-10.
And for some reason, they're a scrappy team. And
Yeah,
they find ways to win.
they're like their coach Mike Vrabel. He was a scrappy player for
it's a
the
perfect,
Patriots. He's like the perfect coach for them, and they respect him
they
because he
kinda
played.
take on the personality
Yes,
of
they
the
take on the
coach,
personality of
yeah.
your coach, and they're kicking ass, man. Like they don't have no
But
passing
Derrick
game. I don't know.
Henry,
I don't know who the receivers are, but I just know Derrick Henry. He reminds me of the Incredible Hulk. He's all big, like.
He's like a man amongst
Yeah. Remember, I hated the commercial they did with the Rams players trying to tackle him.
yeah, he was
That was
just, like,
dumb,
blowing
but
right through him.
he's a bigger dude. The game I want to talk about the most. The Colts beat the Raiders. The Colts took somebody off the TV screen that never coached him, never did anything in the NFL. Well, he's Peyton Manning's center.
Yeah.
They beat the Raiders. And then tell me about that game, Sal.
That was hard to. That's another crazy thing with the Raiders. You know, the Raiders are they're just like falling apart. But Mark Davis was kind of defending Josh. You know, I don't know how you. I saw where Derek Carr. Did you see that after the game? Where
Now, what do you think about him crying? Is that passion, or is it like?
I like him as a person, and I think it's passion. But I just think that the Raiders are in trouble. They need. I actually would think that I would be. I think it makes sense if you move in a different direction from. After 1 year, I think you kind of seen enough. I think.
But then from Josh McDaniels, Sal, that'd be the fourth coach for Derek. Derek Carr's had like 6 coaches in like 7 years.
Yeah.
Gruden, the special teams coach. Before that, he had Jack Del Rio, I believe, and then he's gonna have Josh Daniels. I think like when he's talking, I think he's talking to the younger players. Like some people aren't focused. I say it like this: you're in Vegas. Derek Carr's married. Devontae Adams is married. When you're 20-something years old and you're in Vegas, and some people have never been to Vegas before, I told people when the Raiders moved to Vegas.
Well, I remember reading a quote where John Madden said that he would never coach the Raiders in Vegas because of all the distractions. And now you're kind of seeing that. But the Raiders are, you're in Vegas. You have to have an explosive team. You can't just not make a move because you just hired a coach. After a year, if they're moving in the wrong direction, you got to do it,
And there's a lot of distractions in Vegas. Like I said, you go after the game. Oh, man, I'm okay. Oh, there's a club right there to me. I'll wind up Vegas is 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? You see, past players already got in trouble.
Exactly.
You know, we already know that. We already know that story. But
But also think about this. In Vegas, usually the house wins.
the Raiders can't win.
Right? The house is losing.
And it's funny, so many Raider fans get on me and say, why you talk about us so much on your podcast? We're not even in your division. Yeah. The reason I talk about you guys is because before the start of the year, you guys told me Devontae Adams was better than Cooper Kupp. You told me Derek Carr is going to do this and do that. You told me Josh McDaniels. You guys came at me. I didn't pick on you. I was minding my own business, Sal, because as a world champion, I was minding my own Super Bowl championship business. They started calling me and texting me, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. So that's why I get on the Raider fans so much. Sorry. Now will you stop texting me and trying to be a bully? See you December 8th.
The only way you stop all that is you got to win games.
You got to win to shut me up. Like,
Same thing
that's
with
all
the
it
Rams.
is.
I mean, it's tough when you're losing, but it does, true fans, I mean, it breaks your heart to lose. But that's all part of being a loyal fan. It's not for everybody. Some fans can take it and some can't, but, we know what we signed up for. And for me, it's like, I mean, I've been down this path many times.
They're telling me we're going to go 13-4. We're going to go 14-3. We're going to win. So every time I do the podcast, talk about the Chiefs, now they're like, it keeps on dwindling down. The Chiefs are at 4 games. I told you, Sal. Yeah. I said the Chiefs are going to. What's up, Uncle Carlton? I told you the Chiefs are going to win the division. My uncle's you saw that on your thing. He's a Chiefs fanatic. My Uncle Carlton, he loves the Chiefs.
I respect that though.
Yeah. He's like, don't talk bad about my Chiefs. Hey, if they lose, I can't talk bad. They're winning, like I said.
Yeah, but he paid his dues. A true fan.
Yeah, he's a true fan. Like how we are, like been through it all. Let's talk about the Cowboys. They're going to Lambeau Field. Christian Watts, I even heard of that guy, but he had like 3 touchdowns and he looked like, and then
that was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great. Yeah, they won 31-20 in overtime. What do you think about that?
Again, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and he and Brady, those until they're out of the league, those guys are always going to have to be mentioned.
So I went to the bathroom at SoFi and the game was on. Like at halftime, I'm like, people are getting the food and stuff. I went to go get. I'm like, where's everybody? Oh, they're watching the Cowboys-Packers game. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, like come on, Green Bay beat Dallas because it helps us and stuff. But the people are just congregated by the team. Like, oh, this is interesting. Like, just to go to a game and just watch.
Well, the fact that it even got that close, it seemed like the Cowboys would have rolled past them pretty easily. But you just never know in football. That's what makes it so great. That's why. Along those lines, we're never out of it until it's mathematically out of it. Rams could do the same thing. I hope.
Now we saw the Sunday night game. Niners beat the Chargers. The Chargers had them 13-3. I'm like, here we go again. Chargers always do Charger things, man. They can never go past. I want 13-3. I'm like, oh, this is bad because 10-point leads just bother me for some reason because people always come back from 10-point leads.
Yeah, 10-point leads.
And then the Niners are always in those 10-point type of lead, up or down. I'm like, okay, Chargers. And then they end up losing 22-16. That means they got scored. Like, the Niners are like bullies. I'm looking at them just like, it could be Niners. I mean, it could be Rams, Niners, and NFC. It could be Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? But the Niners are just a bully team. They're like at every position.
I like the way they're built,
Yeah, I can't get mad at them. They're physical. They got a fullback.
I just think it's so funny because many Niner fans that I know, they all wanted Jimmy G gone,
Exactly.
And I told them, you know what? That's the best thing that happened to you.
Yes.
Was keeping Jimmy G. And now you see him there. He's playing good football. It's not his fault. He didn't give up that big play to Sammy Watkins in the Super Bowl. If they would have won that, he would have went down as a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
So it's funny how 2 teams the Rams beat or lose to, like the Rams played Niners tough. Mm-hmm. Now they're on a trajectory. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay, the Rams lose to Tampa Bay. They're on a trajectory. Now they're on a trajectory together. Like, will they meet? If the Rams don't make the playoffs, will it be Tampa Bay? This could be there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, because I don't know about Philadelphia.
I think there's, Eagles. I mean,
they look good.
There's at least 4 or 5 teams that could make a run, and it'd be pretty much. I don't think anybody would be shocked with whoever comes out of that cluster of teams because they're all capable of beating. The NFL is really strange. You never know what you're getting, and you get hot that game, anything can happen.
Now, these are some of the Week 11 games. Thursday night game, we have Titans versus Packers. Derrick Henry versus he's going to have, he's going to play.
I would pick Titans.
Okay. Jets and Patriots. The Jets are in second. That division is, so crammed up because everybody thought Buffalo was going to run away with it. They're, in third place. Miami Dolphins are in first. Jets are in second. Buffalo, and then New England's 4-4. They're all bunched up. That's a great division.
No one's running away with the division, and also the Jets are playing pretty good ball.
Yeah, they're surprised.
And you remember Buffalo started off really hot
because everybody's like Super Bowl. Book your thing. Cowboys and the Vikings play. So tell us about some of those stories. In the 70s, how good was the rivalry? Obviously, I didn't see it, but tell us about what you saw.
That was always a classic. I mean. The Cowboys and the Vikings, they represented a lot of Super Bowls during the 70s. So, you had Doomsday Defense, Purple People Eaters. I mean, a lot of history on both those franchises. Fun to watch. I remember the Rams would get in the mix, and there would be times when the Rams would beat the Vikings, and then we'd lose to the Cowboys. We beat the Cowboys, lose to the Vikings. But I was so glad when Minnesota got a dome because the Rams were, having to play in that cold weather was always brutal.
A lot of people
especially
don't
for
know,
LA team.
Sal. The term Hail Mary came from the Cowboys-Vikings game.
Yes.
When Vikings, I guess Roger Staubach had went to church that morning or
Yeah.
something, had a Hail Mary prayer or something, and then he threw it to Drew Pearson, I believe,
Yeah, Drew
against the
Pearson,
Minnesota
yeah.
Vikings, and that created the term Hail Mary.
That was a crazy play. I remember watching that game. And I think during that game, there was a fan threw a bottle.
Oh, yeah,
at the
that
ref.
ref, yeah.
I'll never forget it. That was crazy. But I remember when the ball was in the air, and Drew Pearson was able to, make that catch, and between the two defenders, people were in shock of what they saw.
And there's another Vikings player. What was his name at the time? Bobby Moore turned into Ahmad Rashad.
Ahmad Rashad,
Yeah.
Bobby Moore was a great
Bobby,
player.
yeah, he was from Oregon. Went to played for the.
Yeah, the Vikings always had Sammy White. I mean, Mick Tingeloff. They've always had Jeff Seaman. They always had a lot of players that have been there for years. And Pat Studwell. They always had they were always a really physical team. And back then, teams seemed to be built different. They were a lot more physical than they are today. You get a lot of teams they build for speed, but I like to. That's why I think the Niners. I always respect them because of the way they're built. They're a physical team. They can either beat you up or they can beat you with speed also.
And this Sunday, Chargers and KC from SoFi. They always play these close games. I think it's going to be a shootout. It could be like 35-31. I think the Chiefs are going to win because last year they played there. It was a great game. Like that's when the Chargers went for it like four times, fourth down, like at the 10-yard line. Each sequence, they could have beat them.
I mean, I can understand being aggressive, but 4 times in one game, that's too much. You took a lot of points off the board.
Yeah.
And that's what they ended up losing by. You got to kick the field goals. 4th and 1. I mean, here and there, depending on the momentum and where you're at on the field, but just to go for it and be aggressive doesn't make sense. It comes back to haunt you, and that's exactly what happened.
And then Monday night game, Niners and Cardinals. I got to go for the Cardinals because the Niners they're both ahead of us, Sal. So who do we go for? Technically,
we need some help.
Hey, who do we go for? Do we go for the Cardinals or do we go for the Niners? Because we're balling the ball. We got to win our game.
Yeah.
And then who do you like?
We got to go, of course, for the Cardinals, and then also the Niners. We're done with that series,
Yeah, but then we still got to play Seattle twice. So it's
Yeah.
like, who do we go? Like when our teams, people on our team, like a division play each other, I'm like, okay, like we're in first place. I'm like, okay, who's below us? But we're in last place. We're looking up now. I'm just like, dang, I hate these type of games because it's like
there's so much football left though. Football is crazy.
Yes, 8 games.
I think it's just as quickly as somebody getting hot. I think could happen with a team getting kind of cooling off and struggling that way.
So my record's not going to come to fruition. I said the Rams are going to go 12-5. So
12-5.
I said that maybe 11-6.
Yeah, boy. You definitely don't want to be 5-12.
Yeah. That's.
It's just like. It's a rough season. I mean, nobody would have predicted. We knew going into the season that the Rams had the toughest schedule in the NFL, but nobody could have predicted that the Rams were going to struggle like that.
Before we head out, big shout out to La Brea Bakery. Go to labreabakery.com/tailgate for all your tailgate needs. La Brea Bakery. They have locations in Anaheim. They're at grocery stores. They have one at downtown Disney. They have them off of La Brea in LA, I believe. So check go to labrea.com/tailgating or labrea.com for all your tailgate needs, bread, baguettes, artisan bread. They have everything.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
They're going to put pounds on me, but it's so delicious.
Yeah, I love bread.
I love bread too. Thank you so much. That's episode 10 of the Going Around Buzz podcast with Chris, Damon, and Sal. Whose house?
Rams.
Whose house?
Rams house.
There we go, baby.
Regardless of
Woo!
the record, it'll always be Rams house, and we'll get it together.
Yeah.
We got to. It'll be.